It's going live now. And oh, it's in setting up your YouTube live. Yeah, I did this 3 times yesterday, and I gotta post all these videos to Rumble. So,
What happens? I mean, have you been having trouble with it or it's
no,
fine?
no, no, no. I'm good. Yeah, we're good now. We're live now. So, hey guys,
Okay.
let me hit record. And if you want to copy this, I'll send you a copy too. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. Today we have a fascinating guest with us. We have with us Amay, and and that's how you pronounce her name, Amay, and it's because she's from down south, and she is a corporate flight attendant to the elites for 2 decades, flying the They Seventh Gen New Orleans University. Background is master's level etymology, linguistics, and language, and her channel focuses on inverted language and flat plane of existence, astrology along with experience as well. That's amazing. This is really interesting. So, yeah, Amy, thanks so much for coming on. How are you?
Thanks, Rob. I'm good. How are you? We've talked so many times and it's so cool to finally speak in real life. You know what I mean?
I know, right? It is like it's yeah, like and you sounds like what you're doing is amazing. So, well, first off, what's your channel so that people can find it, like it, and like subscribe to you and stuff like that?
Okay, well, it's plainastrology.com is the website, and then the channel is also called Plain Astrology. And the thing is I do talk a lot about the zodiac, but it's also a lot about inverted language and symbolism and the matrix, and also my experiences flying and New Orleans and art, because I'm also a painter. So it's not just astrology by any means.
Yeah. Well, what did you, how did you end up getting how did you end up being a flight attendant for the elites? Like, tell us about that a little bit. Like,
Oh,
is that where you want to
okay.
start? Or wherever you
Okay,
want to
sure.
start.
Sure, that's a good angle. So it's been 2 decades. I've worked for the same company, and it's a very small group of flight attendants. So I was hired in September of 2004, and at that time, yeah, it was really a really hard job to get into, and I had never heard of this private jet company, and it was a British friend of mine, Susie, and she said, you should look into this. And I had already worked for Delta for about a year, and that's all I'd done in aviation, and I was in college also. And
Yeah.
so anyway, yeah, I applied, and I was told that it was very, very hard to get into, and I had to do all sorts of testing, IQ tests, personality tests. I had to meet with uh, a board, for the chief pilot and other chief flight attendants, and so they all had to unanimously agree on me. You had to have a high GPA, you had to have a language, you had to have a unique background, and I had lived as a child in Bolivia, and I had lived in Denmark for 2 summers. Are you still there? You're a little frozen.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just
Oh, you're
sharing
here.
this
You're
out.
okay.
I'm sharing
So,
this out as you're talking. I'm listening to everything you're saying though.
okay,
What
good.
like what like how did you like
So,
what made them like how did you I mean like it's crazy. Like they were
so
looking for like special flight attendants with
Yes,
like
yes. So I'll give you,
international
yes,
like
you had to have international, you had to have, you wouldn't think, like, I know that that sounds like, well, hang on, a flight attendant, your IQ, but yes, this kind of job, flying these types of people, you have to be high end. You had to have an interesting background. It was extremely competitive job. At that time, I knew they were getting over 2,000 applicants a month, and that at that time there was only maybe 200 flight attendants. So you can imagine that it was it was really but I wasn't worried at all. It's very strange. I was very confident. I knew I would get it. I had sent a resume with my photo, with my background, everything, and I had a call within 2 weeks. And at that time, that was unheard of. And I don't mean to sound like I'm not tooting my horn. It was just meant to be. So, and I knew it was hard, but I went after it, and I knew that I fit the profile, just the background. I did have some Spanish, and then the countries with Bolivia and Denmark, and I had Also some experience. I was at one time married to an ice sculptor, so I had some of that. I used an ice sculpture in my presentation. And I had to do a catering menu, but very unique, like not anything that you would the type of catering and food even that the elite you know, their menus and their diets are quite different. So
What do
I
they
so
eat? What
I
kind
mean,
of
just
stuff?
I would just say that I remember when I was first working there, I couldn't believe some of it was just things that I hadn't thought of. You know, maybe macrobiotic seaweed type of just unique diets, very specific. So when I fly, I get a brief. They're called briefs, you know, before your day, and you don't know where you're going in this job until the night before. It's almost like top secret mission, right? And it's always like we're not allowed to share the details and everything, and you know, because paparazzi, things like that. And so it's pretty high end, you know, dignitaries, politicians, Hollywood. I've flown a lot of anyone you can imagine, you know. Most I've flown people that most people will never see in their lifetime, and a lot of CEOs. I've flown the CEO of Google, you know, and I've done, yeah, Bezos family, Gates, all of, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Whoa, holy shit, the Bezos family and the Gates family, what are they like
Yeah, that
behind the
was
scenes?
years ago. That's been a little while. Well, it was Bill Gates Sr. and yeah, that's been a few years. That was interesting. He was just very interesting. He was very tall. And it's interesting. A lot of these people are not Hollywood. Hollywood is often small. That's
Yeah.
but this is strange because a lot of the hedge fund and a lot of the CEOs and stuff, the real money makers, the ones who essentially own the realm, a lot of that they're often quite tall. I will say that.
What do you think that has to do with like Anunnaki genetics or Nephilim genetics or something like that?
I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible. And I'll tell you something, and this is not to get sidetracked, but an astrologer that I had spoken with, maybe was it 7 or 8 months ago, she had said in my chart she could see that one of the reasons I was hired was I'm on a frequency equivalent to them, to the people that I fly. And I actually hadn't given that a lot of thought, but it makes sense because it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They're different, right, than us. So, and I can attest to that for sure. So, to be in their capacity, they really would want those that are in their capacity to be. They would know. In other words, do you get what I'm saying? They would
Yeah.
know the
Yeah,
energy, the frequency.
so are you RH negative?
I do not know that. I did do a blood test. I don't think that I am. But I will say that my father was he wrote a book actually called The Anunnaki Woman, and he was an author and he was a professor, and he was one of the 2% of the population, and having he had a strawberry blonde hair and blue eyes. And he was also he was an Elizabethan theater actor in college, and he played pro baseball. And he was just very, very unique, extremely extroverted, and extremely intelligent, and very well versed and well read. And so he was he was definitely something different. And then my mother was sixth generation New Orleans, from a French line that the astrologer says is draconian. And my family on that side, they were of mostly French lineage, but there's a branch that extended what we call the Irish Channel in New Orleans, which is around the Anne Rice and those people. Which now is it true? I don't know, but it's connected to some sort of vampirical line. So,
Well, that's interesting. That is so interesting. So your dad sounded like he was a really interesting fellow, like he was like I
right.
mean like what tell me a little bit about his book, Anunnaki Woman. What was it about?
Well, it's fiction, and it is he was very connected to a lot of he was into the space stuff and UFOs and the different breeds. But he's been gone now a few years, and truth be told, a lot of it's a shame because a lot of the revelations that I've had over the years, um, he would have been so proud of and interested in. He was definitely not of or I don't want to say, I mean, we're all human, we're here in this existence, I'm pretty sure, I don't know about you, but there's definitely a connection to the constellations, if that makes sense. And he was very odd and eccentric in a good way, very charismatic, almost kind of like Bill Clinton, just very, he could light up any room. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of, did you ever fly with Bill Clinton or like Obama or Trump or any of them?
No, no, not. But I had friends who flew with the Clintons. Hillary, I will say she. I guess I'm going to say this because I'm not saying her, but she was one of let's just say, kind of a nasty reputation.
So I'm just guessing this. I'm saying you to be a flight attendant, you're probably pretty attractive then, I'm guessing. Like because and you don't have to you don't have to rate yourself. I'm just saying like usually flight attendants are, right? Is that what they were looking for as well? When they
Well, oh, I mean, yeah, of course, your looks play a role, right? Especially with as private flight attendants. Yeah, absolutely. I've not really come across any ugly flight attendants at my work.
I
So
know that was kind of a dumb question, but
no,
like,
but yeah, I fit the bill with you had to have you couldn't walk in and just have looks. You had to have intelligence. You had to have discretion based on who you're going to fly. You had to have something unique. You had to have the international background. And I'm going to tell you something else, and I'm not going to say there aren't that many tall corporate flight attendants, but most flight attendants are petite because we're on private jets.
yeah.
And so, and there's male flight attendants too, but it was majority at the time I was hired was female. And I was actually told and this is kind of interesting, but I was told by the recruiter that it was easier to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader or to get into Harvard than to become a flight attendant with this company.
Wow, that's insane.
So, and like some of my friends that I've had over the years, like one flight attendant, he was a tour guide in Antarctica. One was she was a nanny for the British Royals. One was a butler for the British Royals. I mean, when I tell you this is an elite small group, that's an understatement. It's
Have you ever
very,
noticed any like weird behavior or like crazy behavior?
say that
Have you
with
ever witnessed any like crazy behavior, like drinking blood or anything like that? I just gotta ask, like.
no, I've not witnessed any blood drinking.
Well, that's what they say these elites do. They say they're reptilian. Have you ever seen anybody shapeshift?
No, no, but I wouldn't go that far, but I would say one of the most interesting passengers that I've had, and it wasn't even that long ago, it was only a few months ago. He was very interesting. He was very, very slim. He was flying alone. He did not eat anything. He had a face like how can I say? It was similar to the face of, yeah, would be reptilian, like I suppose.
Oh God, that's crazy.
I'm
So he
not
was a
well
real.
versed on who, what, where, when, and this galactic. Do you know? I
Yeah.
just know he was. I have had some that their mannerisms were and the way they speak and the way and the food they eat or don't eat at all. Like Bill Gates Sr., he didn't eat at all. He didn't eat anything.
Wow.
And he was very flirtatious with me, didn't eat anything, and just stared out the window the whole trip. I thought that was a little odd.
Yeah, that is weird. And we had some questions from the audience. Yeah, and I only see here. So yeah, you wonder if we got an audience. We already got 30 people watching. So this is really interesting to people. Like,
You know
um,
what, Rob? I want to say, and I don't want to interrupt you, but what I want to say is I am heavily shadow banned, so I'm excited to talk to you, because I am so, my content is not been easy. It's weird. I'll get like 1,000 views on one video and then 38 on another.
that's exactly what's happening with me. I mean, I'm shadow. I mean, I know I have like 5,800 subscribers, but I used to have 20,000. So I think I had 22,000 subscribers on my old channel or something like that. And then they took it down. And now I've been trying to build this new channel. And it's what's crazy about it is like, I've been thinking, I'm like, well, where did those other 15,000 people go? Like, why are they not finding me? You know what I mean? But the same thing, like if I do a video with like Gene Decode or Carrie Cassidy, like two of the bigger names that, I'll get like 3 or 4 thousand views. Some of them get in the 10,000 views, but then some of my other videos only get like two, three, 400 views. You know what I mean?
do
So
you,
it's
But
weird. It's
do you know
really
what I
strange.
do you know what I think is I mean there's definitely an algorithm involved, but it's I don't I mean it's an internet, right? And I focus a lot on language and this is one thing one reason, excuse me, why I started the channel is because a few years ago, and language has always been fascinating to me, but I was just hit with seeing so many words inverted and reassembled. And I had to start keeping notebooks of everything. So even when someone would say a word, I would reverse it and reassemble it in my head. And it was coming, it's been going on for a couple of years now. And I can't say the point when it started, like, was it when I was flying or where was I? I don't know, but it's definitely a portal. And I do believe in portals. And let's just look, and I don't mean to just dive right into that. We can just be all over the place, and that's fine. But I want to say that, for example, I would write in my notebook about a portal. And then what do you call an airport? It's a port. Then what do you, when you're going into a hospital, you fill out a patient portal. And there's portals in the sky. And why is an airport, why is it called a terminal? Terminal is a death. It's an entry point. It's an exit point. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that is so you study like you're like Pierre Sabak. Have you ever heard of Pierre Sabak? He studies like the etymology of words.
I've not, but it was what I focused on in school. And I know that's just a university degree, right? I did mention that to you. But I think with some things, I mean, so much of history is false. I mean, it's fake. But with literature and linguistics, I believe that if you have some roots in that, it can only help in deciphering and decoding language. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And it gives you the real meaning of what's going on, like the undertone of what really is being, yeah. And and they say language is spells too, like words are spells, which is interesting. But so you said in your bio you think we're on a flat plane. So do you believe in flat Earth, or do you it's just some and have your flight kind of proved that in your do you feel?
Well, I was definitely into the flat earth thing for a long time, and I'm actually part of a group here with flat earthers, and I do believe in flat earth still to a degree, but I actually believe in door number three, and I believe in a lot of situations in this matrix. Uh, what's real is behind door number three, and it's not for me now. And flying has definitely, my perception has contributed to my perception of this plane. It's a grid, it's a matrix. And keep in mind, on the planes that I fly, we go higher than commercial jets. I mean, we go up to, I think the highest I've been is 47,000.
Wow, I'd
But
be
I would
scared.
say in
I'm definitely
general,
I'm definitely scared of heights, but like I flew like twice and I
I'm
was
scared of
okay.
heights too.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Did you know that that's not unusual for cabin crew to be scared of heights?
Wow. I mean, I mean I go on roller coasters and stuff like that, but like
See,
the
I
huge
can't do
ones like
that. I
I
can't do
I
that.
close my
I
eyes. Like
can't
I
do
went on
that.
the we have this one in Pittsburgh here. It's called the Steel Phantom. It's huge. It's like 300 feet up in the. It has like a 300-foot drop, which is pretty big. You know.
I could never. That's no. No, but
Yeah.
so we go up pretty high, and you get a really good aerial view that even the commercial jets and passengers and crew would never see. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
from my perspective, I feel like I'm really looking at a computer grid, a motherboard. And I mean, what's a computer, a motherboard? Do you know what I'm saying? We're that's the motherboard.
I
And
agree.
and,
I was going to say, I don't believe we're in a round Earth or a flat Earth. I believe we're in like a holographic simulation. You
we are
know.
in a holographic. We are absolutely without a shadow of a doubt for me and my experiences. We are in a holographic system, and flying has helped me to see that. And I tell you what, yeah, it's mind blowing getting that view that most society will never have. It's pretty mind blowing. And are there pilots who are flat earthers? Absolutely. But they're a little bit shunned. I mean they don't announce that, And I will say this on the planes that there is in the paperwork, and I fly in the cockpit. I fly in the flight deck a lot. The third jump seat, is for the flight attendant. And you know, it will say fly as if you're on a stationary plane. Now, why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Why would that be?
Why would that be? Because you are on a stationary plane.
Wait, what? What? You're blowing my mind. Like so, like with you're saying that the plane's not moving; it's stationary.
No, you're on a stationary plane. You know how we're on it. So
Oh, okay.
what it's saying to the pilot, to the guys flying, what it's saying to them is fly as if you are stationary, as if you're on a stationary plane. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you're not. Yeah, like you're on a flat plane. Yeah, like that's interesting. Like
Like,
that's
and I've seen that in the flight deck.
I
Okay.
to back up your claim about the holographic reality and simulation. I always tell people this when we talk about simulation and holographic reality. I mean, I read the book The Holographic Universe by
I did
Michael
too. I
Talbot.
have it. I
That's
did
a
too.
great book. Gerald Clark. I was really a big fan of Gerald Clark before he died.
Hmm.
He said some amazing. He wrote the book The Anunnaki of Nibiru, and he wrote the book Seventh Planet Merc. But anyway, he's the one who got me onto Michael Talbot. But anyway, what I wanted to tell you was when I smoked DMT, I had a DM. Someone sent me a DMT pen one time, and I basically was like, I work from home, right? So I could do it anytime I wanted to, and I would blast off during the middle of the day, and I would just like see like what because I wanted to test it and see like what it did for me. You know what I mean? I
So
wanted
you
to really
tapped
like.
into, right, you tapped into the subconscious mind?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would see stuff, not a lot, but like what it was interesting was I would see a lot of geometric patterns and shapes, and then
Yes,
when I
yes,
came off the
yes,
drug, like
yes,
when I was
yes,
coming back to reality, everything on my desk here looked holographic. Everything looked like it was like fake. You know what I mean? But like it's weird because
yes,
everything's solid and we can touch
yes,
it. But when you do this DMT, you'll see that everything is holographic. I can't explain it
yes.
any other way.
No, no,
So,
no, 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 absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so this is so much of what I feel too. Now think about this. Think about this. And whether you're on DMT or not, this is well, just think about this. Okay. Think about the black cube of a phone, right? When your phone is off. Think about a TV, right?
yeah.
Well, look at how black the pupil of your eyes are. This is our virtual reality headset, as far as I'm concerned. This is how we are decoding. Like the mind is the mind is the energy surrounding us. It's not inside of us, it's outside of us. And I believe that we are humans. We are in our avatars inside of a larger energy. Rather than a soul inside of you, you are a person, a human inside of a soul. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. We're embodying the soul, you're saying.
That's right. And you were decoding the two black, these are our two black cubes. What's the black cube? I mean, that's Saturn. And Saturn, not Saturn like NASA tells us. And yes, I've flown those people too. But not that kind of Saturn, but Saturn as a waveform. The zodiac is real, and it's part of this quantum computer, this holographic system in which we're in. And these luminaries or planetary bodies are waveforms. They're frequencies. They're frequencies, and it's a holographic system. I mean, I know you talk to all kinds of different people. I can respect that they believe in space or we're in a contained field. For me, we're in a contained field.
Well,
And
what I was thinking was, I've thought about this too. I was thinking, well, people who are having like these SSP experiences, they could be they could be going to space. Well, they could be going to somewhere where it might be look like space, but it could be a holographic projection, like, or it could be another dimension, another reality. Like, you know what I
see,
mean? Like how things can exist on other realities. Like, because I was always wondering, I'm like, when people have these SSP experiences, like they're obviously tapping into another reality. You know what I mean? So
so what I think that it is, it's consciousness. It's consciousness. And they're shifting dimensions. Just like when you go to sleep at night and you wake up. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like they're shifting dimensions. And I actually believe that the shifting of dimensions is what the Mandela effect, and it should be mandala, not Mandela, mandala. And that's a pattern. And those of us who remember things from the past differently, we've shifted dimensions. Does that make sense? Do you know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
I love that. Yeah, this is a really interesting conversation.
But
So,
look at the word, Rob, look at the word die. The word die, D-I-E, is in the word dimension.
wow. So do you think when we die, we obviously just go to another dimension? Like,
I,
that's what I've always thought was weird is when they say people die and they don't know they're dead, or have you heard people say that? Like, I've heard people say that they'll say, yeah, this person died and they don't know they're dead, and or they're having a hard time realizing they're dead. I'm like, well, wait, what is death then? Where do we go to? Do we just wake up and we're just not in our physical form anymore, but we're still encompassing this reality? Or we in a or when we die, maybe we just go to another dimension where everything's the same as here. We just don't have a body or something like that. You know what I mean?
here's what I think based on my experiences, not only being from New Orleans and I'm sure that's contributed to my own really unique experiences, but that and flying and everything else. And I've also had traumatic situations like drowning, a major car accident, and and a lot of weird sleep stuff. I've had my whole adolescence, I was doing astral projection and not with any drugs or alterations of, not, it was all.
How did it start? Tell us how it started. What
Well, let
happened?
me go back to, I'm going to go back to the thing real quick. I want to say this. I want to say that I believe the biggest psyop of all time is death, is death. Rob, look at the word funeral. The word fun is in funeral. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The end of the word funeral is all, as in like ball. Ball, like the cabal. All.
yeah.
A-L, funeral. I'm saying, okay, what I'm saying is I think it's the only way to make this system work in this matrix. The only way to make it work is to convince people that they're here for a short time. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
they want to make people feel like their existence is meaningless, or that like there's no bigger meaning to life, you know?
Well, I don't know. Well, I wasn't going with that. I was just getting if you wanted a slave society, a slave system, okay, like the controllers of the realm, if you wanted them to do in your timeline what you wanted them to do, you need to convince them that this is the when they leave here that this is the end. I mean, you're here from A to B and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And reincarnation, I understand, is big, and I believe that that's real. But I believe very much in simultaneous incarnations. So, and I have a series of books, and I read a lot. And I'm not talking about internet stuff. I read actual books. And this is one thing about flying over the years is you would actually have time to read books, right? So I have invested a lot of time and even money in getting rare books. Like I have the whole Matrix series of books that this guy wrote in the late 70s and early 80s. And he used a pseudonym. He was Russian CIA guy, and this is before David Icke, and he even says things that David Icke later used. And I have like he's got his documents in the books. Now, to get a copy of one of these books, which there's like 12 volumes, is easily $700 a book. But I do have a couple of them. And he even says the same thing, simultaneous incarnations. And this is what I believe is very possible. Because I feel like anything, when there's so much prevalence of anything, we've got to take a closer look at it. Reincarnation could be very well drummed into our heads, reincarnation, reincarnation, because they want you coming right back here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you believe in this, you're going to come right back here, right? You're
Do
going
you
to
do
keep
you have a
coming here.
plan? Do you have a plan when do you? I'm obviously thinking you want to leave here. Like you don't want to be a part of this realm, this matrix. So like, do you have a plan when you leave, or I mean, when your time comes? Like, do you have a plan as to what you're gonna do? Like,
Well, I think about it a lot because I think about it a lot. I think the moon is a big role player in this. I think the moon is the great white light. I think it's a recycling station. I don't think it's real. I think it's artificial. It's it's where they want you to go, and you would come right back. Yeah. So I've thought about this a lot, and vibration, and how do I get out of here? Um, yes, I would prefer to not come back to this realm, and for one reason and one reason only is the suffering. You know, I've been very fortunate in my life in many ways. Not so much with family, because I did come from a very prominent, wealthy family on my mother's side, but not those kind of families aren't the most nurturing. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Um, so what I'm saying is, but I've been very fortunate in a lot of other ways, and like well, okay, I don't want, okay, I don't want to say that. But I've been very fortunate, and the thing is, no matter how great everything is in your life, there are still too many suffering.
yeah,
And I would say that my job, flying the elite, seeing another side of life that most people will never see, as far as assistants, nannies, butlers, drivers, the whole thing, the lifestyle that I've witnessed, the disparity. I mean, the fact that there's this going on, and then there's so many homeless, and just the disparity. I just, I don't, it makes me not, no, I don't like this place for that reason alone. Does that make sense?
yeah. No, I do. I agree with you 100%. And it's actually you're absolutely right. Like it's a weird it's a weird situation that we find ourselves in here. Like and different people get different situations here in this realm, but they make it really hard. And I really do believe they target people. I don't know. I mean, have you ever felt targeted in your life?
Hmm. Doesn't that mean, you mean from an outside? No, I just feel bombarded with a lot of messages, a
So
lot
you're
of
getting downloads. You're saying.
downloads. And
Where
I
do you think
actually
those downloads
believe
are
that
coming
when we
from?
go, I, I believe it's an outer source, but I've sometimes wondered if it's actually me in another dimension. Does
Yeah,
that
like
make
giving yourself clues or yeah,
giving
giving your.
myself clues? So maybe this could be my last time, because I think you've lived this life many times and other lives. And
I think about that all the time. I'm going to tell you.
yeah.
So like, I have these deja vu moments where I feel like I've actually like lived like exactly like you said. Like I've actually lived this life over and over, and I keep messing up or doing something wrong in this life. You know, like I've been exactly me, like me, and
Yes,
and I think that's happened many times,
yes, 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 I
and
do too.
and I
I
don't
do too.
like the fact that they meant whoever is controlling this realm, whether it's the Anunnaki or reptilians or archons or whatever it is. I don't like the fact that they mind wipe us because if this was I always say this, if this was a school of learning, if we were here to learn lessons and stuff like that, why do we get mind wiped? You know what I mean?
That's what
If you
I'm always saying too. I can't even listen to that when they're saying this is a school. Well, okay, you've learned some over the years, right? That's true, but you also we have amnesia on a regular basis, and this dementia thing is just really that's some type of etherical implant. Like dementia is amnesia. And you have it. Can you remember right now, like what you were doing when you were 7 or what you were doing when you were 14? I mean, what I mean is that we're constantly hit, it's amnesia.
I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah. It definitely is. Like in
But,
yeah. So who do
but
you think is controlling this realm if you had to guess?
I mean, it could even be us. It could be another layer of our consciousness. Consciousness is everything.
Yeah.
I know we want to point to the bad guys, yeah, the men in black, and I've been in, I've been in close quarters with these guys. They have a role. They have a role, but they're trapped in here too. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, they're in here as well. I think that it would be mind blowing if we really understood consciousness.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
So I think we could be co-creators of our own reality, and we want out of here. Let me tell you something really interesting. So, because I see language a lot, and I do get these messages, I do get these downloads, and I just want to give you a couple examples. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, okay, I want you to think about, okay, how can I illustrate this? Let's say you died, okay, and there's a funeral and you go underground, but a part of your consciousness says, I don't want to do that. I'm feeling that it wants out and freaks out. You go right back into another layer of yourself, another dimension, another aspect of yourself. Okay. Now, what would that be like? That would be like you're rising from the ashes. Now let's think about the word ash for a minute. Okay. Ash, Asheville, Nashville, cash. How do you pay for things with cash? I mean, ash, ring around the rosy, pocket full of ashes, ashes. We all fall down. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's deep. Yeah. I love that.
Like you could have come from, in other words, consciousness wants an experience. Consciousness wants to have this experience, and it latches onto this, if that makes sense. And I think that, okay, let's look at it this way. Let's look at like Wizard of Oz, right? Let's look at like Wizard of Oz. And when everything was in black and white, I actually think, well, we know Dorothy shifts dimensions. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, she goes into another dimension. Yeah, I
Okay,
was
she sure
playing Wizard
does.
Oz, and
And
I saw the new movie too. I saw the
I
Wicked
did
one.
not see
Yeah.
that.
I went with a girl, like I mean, like it's not really my forte, you
No,
know.
no, but I want to say that she shifts dimension. Now let's look at Dorothy's name for a moment. Have you ever thought about her name?
No,
What is Dorothy?
a
It is
door, the door.
do thy door. Her last name is Gale. That's for wind. That's because she's shifting consciousness. She's going into Aquarius. She's going into Aquarius from black and white, no color. She's going into Aquarius. So that's Oz. Oz is part of the zodiac, right?
Yeah,
What is the witch flying? She's flying in the air. Aquarius is an air sign. We're in the age of Aquarius. And what happened in the last century? We went in the air with aviation. We went live on air with radio and TV. That's Aquarius. We have shifted into the age of Aquarius. Who runs Aquarius? The ruler of Aquarius is Saturn.
why? Well, how do you figure that? Why is Saturn the ruler of Aquarius? Is that just
In
how
the
it is on the
zodiac. I
zodiac?
didn't figure it out. It just is. I mean,
Yeah.
Saturn, that's his house, his domicile.
But real quick, before while we go on, the Andromedan from the chat, and we have like 45 people watching. So for not advertising this, we got ended up getting a decent crowd. But everybody wants to know what's your channel so they can subscribe. Like,
Plain astrology.
so just PLANE or not
But do
PLANE,
you
like,
get why I named it plain astrology? Because not just because I flew on a plane, but we're in a plane of consciousness. So,
yeah, yeah. So okay, so
plain
guys, go
astrology.
subscribe to her channel now. Get her some subscribers. Plain Astrology, PLANE, not PLAIN, PLANE Astrology, and her name is Amay, AMAY.
And
And
you know
I
what,
love
Rob?
your
I want to tell you this. This is real important to me, and I want to tell you this, and I want you to think about this. So, the word astrology, what's the first letters astrology? Astro, right? But
yeah.
then when the astro implies that it's outside of the Earth's atmosphere. Is that true? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. You're it All the cosmos are all within reach. They're all within our atmosphere, right? And I think, do you think that you have lived before? Yes, we know that you do. So do you know what I refer to astrology is astrology. AST astrology, and also that includes star backwards. Astrology. Does that make sense to you?
All right, star backward is rats.
No, no, but inverted. Sorry. Astrology includes the word star and then astrology. You get what I'm like astral.
Yeah,
It's astral, right? Isn't it
yeah,
astral?
yeah.
Do you think that you're not possibly in a layer of the astral now? I do. I do.
I think we go to that when we dream, and people can have out of body experiences. And yeah, I think they can, and we could be, because some people say this reality is like kind of like a dream, so that, yeah, that could be. I mean, I think things are here are definitely a lot more crazy than what we've been told or what, and I think we're figuring it out. But
But
what,
I
what,
wanted to say the colors like Wizard of Oz, for example. Let's look at the colors, and the colors that are in this world now. I look at the word magenta. What is that? It's a magnet, right? A
yeah,
magnet.
it
You've
would be
got
like a purple. Magenta's like purple, right?
It's
The
like a
color.
pink purple, but it's a huge part of this reality, magenta.
Why do you think that is? Like,
Because I think we're in a holographic system.
yeah.
It's a synthetic, it's a synthetic digital base. You're
Claudia B. TV in the audience says maybe The Wizard of Oz was the real first Matrix movie. Through the portal, what's genuine or fake? She says. I thought that was a great comment.
yes, 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 I agree.
She says that love this show. Thanks, Rob and Mods, green guest. Yeah, thank you, Claudia. Thanks. She's new here. We got some new people in the audience. That's great. So yeah, I mean, like I'm so glad we decided to do this, Amy, because like Amy, because like and you're from the South, right? Like so, is that why your name is Amy? You're like Southern?
It's a French Creole name. It's yeah, my great grandfather was Ami with one E, and then it's Aimee with an agu. So I always spell it Amay because that's how it's pronounced. But it's a French Creole, and I've actually seen it on tombstones on grave sites because in New Orleans, the cemeteries they're all above ground. They're all above ground, and I've seen Amay. It's a very old French Creole name. So yeah, that's it's a New Orleans name. Yeah.
Yeah. And let me see what else I was going to ask you. I'll go over your bio here. Let me see here. Uh, okay, so tell us, how did you get into astrology then? Like, and like, what kind of astrology? It's obviously not tropical astrology, right?
Well, it is the basis of it is because the stuff that I have studied under Santos Bonacci. I've done a lot of his classes. And then I've also uh done a lot of self education as far as texts and even Aleister Crowley. Um, just the most that I could find on the zodiac that wasn't as much heliocentric, round Earth based. And I believe in the zodiac as far as the 4 points, like Adam, ascendant, descendant, and then the IC and the midheaven, which spells Adam. It's 4 points of the cross, because the sun, which follows the ecliptic, and then there it creates the shadow and it's a cross. So it's a crucifixion, not a crucifixion. And like right now, we're in Saturnalia and we're heading to the shortest day and the longest night, which is the evening of Saturn, when this is Saturn's reign right now. So the zodiac for me, it shows that we're in a scripted reality, that this is a matrix and it's a script. I mean, you can pretty much figure out so much about yourself. And what I didn't want when I was learning, and I'm still learning, but astrology was, I didn't, since I'm frequency based, and since I believe we're in a plane of consciousness, I didn't want to learn the round, the typical round Earth astrology.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Oh, but guys, if you have any questions, we'll go for 10 more minutes because we have another show coming up here soon. But if you have any questions for Amy, put them in the chat now. And the chat's a little bit behind, so like we'll see what kind of questions they come up with, And if you followed this whole conversation, I'm sure a lot of people will have questions, you know. And we have about 40 people watching now, so that's good. Yeah. Um, let me see here. Okay. And you sent me an article. I was looking through the things. You sent me an article. You do art as well?
I do. I'm an artist, so yeah, they're called the Big Heads actually, and I had a gallery for a while in the French Quarter. So yes, I do. I'm a painter too, and that's probably like one of my first loves, really. But the reason why I started the channel was really just with the flying experiences
I
and
was look- I was looking at this
and
article now. It says flying with celebrities. It says this is you were in this article. Like this is amazing. Um,
yeah, yeah. That was hold on one second. Sorry. That was done in New Orleans, and I had a gallery which I still have, but now, like, we were talking about my house, and so I have a cottage in the back and I have the gallery there. And so I started painting when I was like around 11, and I was painting girls' faces and I don't know, they would just come to me and they're big faces. So I came
I'm
up with
I'm
the name, the Big Heads.
I'm
It's the big
showing. Are these some of your paintings from the
Yeah.
article?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is. It
These
is.
are nice. I mean, these are really cool. Like I'm just gonna show this one
So
here.
I've had art shows in New Orleans. So my grandfather, who was French, who was called Pepere, which is a French name, he was a painter in New Orleans, and you might find this interesting because he was a painter, a jazz musician, and he founded the Institute of Hypnosis. So,
That is so cool. Wow.
and,
So your
and,
whole
and
family was into kind of like the woo. Your family was like,
well,
from your dad writing up. Yeah.
yeah, I will tell you this. It was strange. My childhood was very strange. Interesting. Like I can remember with the family, them doing levitation practices and hypnotism. Hypnotism was practiced on my mother. My mother is in a book. He wrote at least 3 books. I have one of them on hypnotism, and there's a picture of my mother. She was very beautiful. She was a French aristocrat and like homecoming queen and everything. And anyway, her pictures are in the book, and this would have been in the late 60s, early 70s, the late 60s, sorry. But so
Wow.
anyway, so he founded the Institute of Hypnosis. So my childhood memories, they had a lot of money, and they actually and I'm not saying that in a way that I have to add that to the story because it illustrates the childhood, right, as being unusual. So they had their own planes. They owned part of an airport. And my first flight on a plane was in a private jet when I was 9, picked up by my uncles. And I will add this that we didn't talk a lot about my family, but so my mother's brother was senator of Louisiana. He was state senator of Louisiana twice. And I have there are politicians. One uncle was governor of Louisiana and governor twice, and one was a mayor of New Orleans. So, and two of my ancestors, they ran against each other for mayor. And so there's a lot of political background, and they were in construction, like not construction like house construction, like major commercial construction, like things
Yeah.
like big department stores and big buildings in downtown New Orleans. And my grandfather had actually built part of the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans. I don't mean to go on about that, but I want to say my childhood was very strange. It was very affluent, very, they're blue bloods. I mean, they're blue bloods. Could there have been some vampirical? I mean, that's what in my research. Now, I didn't see it firsthand, but it
Wow.
was very strange. Yeah.
No, this is fascinating. We're gonna have to do a part two. We went about 50 minutes. Like,
Well, you
would you
know what I
come on
was going to
for a
say?
part two? Because that would be
I was,
amazing.
yes, because there's so much. And if you want to do it with Ken too, or we'll do part 3 with Ken, I don't care. But I wanted to say a couple of videos well, we can talk about it later. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about language. I had the other night, I thought about the T, like we were talking about crucifixion, how the sun crosses and how there's a cross in the zodiac, because there is. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, the other night, I was thinking, oh, like the T in planet. If you lived on a plane, and a plane of consciousness, which is plane, right? And then the T is a cross. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
long cross, which is exactly the ecliptic and the shadow of the sun. And I don't mean to, I just want to say that I get all these. And then the other day, this is the last thing I want to say. Then the other day, it hit me like, the word philosophy, like we think about philosophy, right?
Yeah.
I realized that that's based on experience and life is file. Like if you're in a computer system, your experience is a file, F-I-L-E, just like if you were an Anglophile or a bibliophile. This is like a file, your experience, not your human form, but the experience you have. And so it's like a philosophy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That's interesting.
Isn't that cool when we start breaking down words? I think it's amazing.
It is. I love it. I love etymology. That's why.
I have notebooks full of them. You know what I mean? I have notebooks full. So
Well, let's do a part two for sure. This was fun.
yeah.
Like and the people, I think the audience really enjoyed this.
We
So
barely even touched on astral projection, but we can do that next time.
we can do it next. I mean, we can do a
Yeah.
show before the new year because I have an open schedule next week. Like I have nobody for the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, and I'll do shows on Christmas Eve and Christmas too because
Well, you know
I do
what's
it for the
great?
audience. Like.
Okay. And you know what's great is because I'm so shadow banned, and I want to say that to all your guys, your viewers is yeah, it's tough when you're shadow banned because my whole goal is to help people and to give them unique ideas that they haven't thought about. Because I don't want to have these messages and not share them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, guys, here in like a couple minutes, I'm going to be live with Anchor Haven. Anchor Haven is going to come on and do oracle readings, and she's going to talk about the Basis Conference. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, Tommy Edwards is going to come on, and he's a target individual. We're going to talk about targeting, and he'll probably play some live music. So, this is a whole night of entertainment. You're not going to find this anywhere else. Nobody's doing shows like this. Like, I don't know anybody that does, and I did one this morning too. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying, like, but anyway, do you want to promote anything? And thank you, Amy, for coming on. Like, I keep wanting to call you Amy.
But
Like, you
don't
know
do
what I mean? Like,
it.
Mm.
Just think of the month of May, and then it's easy.
Oh, Amay. Yeah, Amay.
Think
Amay.
of like words that rhyme like étouffée and soufflé, right?
Yeah, we used to have a store called Ames, and
Okay.
it
Well,
was
when you invert the letters A-M-A-Y, you have Maya, and you know what that is. That's an illusion. So there you
yeah,
go.
yeah, that's a
And
good, yeah,
and
yeah,
no, so Plain Astrology is the channel, and then I have a website too that I've just started recently, plainastrology.com, for interpretations and readings, and it's based on a frequency flat plane of existence, not a globe,
yeah.
yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah. No, thank you so much for coming on, and I think you're going to be a new frequent guest. Like and then what we'll do is I'll get a hold of Ken because Ken comes on my show all the time too,
and he's
and
asked me a few times, and I feel bad because we kind of left him out because he's like, when are we going to do this with Rob? We hit it off like great, like we really connected. So that would be great. We can plan that of me and you again, and then also me, you, and Ken. That would be great.
yeah, for sure, yeah,
Okay.
and thank you, Amy. Amy, I'm sorry, and yeah, and I'm just gonna go have a smoke real quick, guys, and then I'll be back and I'll be live with Anchor Haven on another link. So we'll start that here in a couple minutes, and then I will see you guys soon. And thank you, Amy. I'll
Thanks, Rob.
All right.
See you.
Good night, guys. I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Yeah. And now it's not letting me on this. It's not letting me.